So guilds, our entire half acre is done in guilds. Even here in the annual garden, we have some guilds in here, mixed in with the annuals. Things like currants, to bush cherries, to pears, nitrogen bud fixing bushes in the front of them, apples on the edge, a locust there. And all these plants have different functions. In nature, no one waters it, no one feeds it, no one composts it, no one puts starts in, but every year the edge of the forest is dense. So when we mimic that in our backyards with plants that we like apples and raspberries and Asian pears and cherries and so on. So right here we'll look, and just this small area here, we can see all 7 layers of a food forest. We have rooting crops. That's a good one there. Comfrey. There's ground covers, like this clover in the path. There's the herbaceous layer with our annual flowers, like these cosmos, perennial flowers, like the chrysanthemums, the black-eyed Susans, the canna lilies. Some other rooting crops are the turmeric, some peanuts fixing nitrogen. And the bush layer, the shrub layer, we have honeyberries and blueberries and gooseberries and goji berries, elderberries. Above that, in the fruit tree layer, we have these Asian pears. Climbing above that, in the canopy layer, we have an oak tree. We have the black oak. In the climbing layer, we have these grapes. So right here in this small area, we're able to do 7 layers of a food forest. We haven't done that in all these areas, but all throughout the food forest, we've done these guilds. We'll go down here and look at my oldest guild. It's in the shade, and talk about some more functions of that food forest, of that guild, and how it works. So let's talk about this apple tree, this guild here. It's our oldest one. So in this guild, the apple tree would be the key species. There's that canopy species above in the back, if we want to say the whole yard, but just in this small guild here, the canopy would be this apple tree. It's actually 5 types of apple, so we've grafted on 3 other types of apple. 4 other types of apple with the main apple. There's rooting crops. There's comfrey out in front. There's horseradish, great big horseradish in there. So what do those plants do? They're going really deep with their tap roots. They're pulling up nutrient that's unavailable to the more shallow rooted plants, storing it in their leaves, and that can be chopped and dropped in place in that area, composting in place. Above that, we have ground covers, like the clover. Lots of weeds mixed in here. They were like sorrel and chickweed, amaranth. We have that herbaceous layer of flowers mostly in here and herbs, but even those work in a certain way. Closer to the tree, we put things like irises and lilies that come up first. Further out, we have some of the foxglove and succulents. And anything you want to do that's a little later flowering in the year. Out front of that, we have black-eyed Susans that are just getting started now. So thinking of the way it's going to flower. Also in our shrub layer, there's going to be a lot of our nitrogen fixers and our bushes that are calling in the beneficials. When this amber autumn olive or that gummy berry or the silverberry behind it flower, you walk by and you smell it. It's just a wonderful smell. It's doing the same thing with those insects, calling in those beneficials, calling in those pollinators. But we want to have succession within those. So the timing of how those flower and fruit is off by a month or so each. So throughout the growing season, we have something flowering and fruiting, feeding us and our helpers. We get even more detail on how we prune these, because we have 3 different seasons, 3 different time periods during a season. I also go with 3 prunings, 1 a year. That way I don't lose all my berries in 1 year, because they're nitrogen fixing bushes, but they have really tasty berries as well. So I'll prune 1 back hard 1 year, the following year, and then the 3rd year. Getting that succession in time and in space that way. We talked about the key species being here. We talked about the ground covers. We talked about the herbaceous layer. We talked about this shrub layer. There's also some gooseberries and gummy berries mixed in there. I'm sorry, gooseberries and currants in there. Behind us is the grapes, the climbing layer. I just don't want it in there. It's too dense and too thick. I don't want to get the disease in the grapes. Even down here in the shade we get some. But nice grapes as we walk by, along with more of these berries, some black raspberries right here as we walk by. Next door, more currants. And more of the same above, the flowers in the guild. Hope that helps. I'm George, Fat Ninja Food Forest. Change is better than a holiday. Long overdue. Peace.